morning and welcome back to WKNI TV 25 Studios. We're honored to have the Honorable Mayor Earl Johnson from Andalusia. Mayor, once again, thank you.
Thank you.
We've been suffering kind of from the same crud going on. We had you scheduled a couple weeks ago, but you weren't. I wasn't. You guys know it. And, tough stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what the name for all that is. A pulmonary issue. It's caused a lot
crud.
Everyone calls it the crud. I'm sure that's not the medical term for it, but it's a good description of it. That's for sure.
Everybody's got it. I was talking to Senator Hawley last week, and he said he'd been down with it too, and he's coming in next week, and he said, man, I've been fighting it left and right. Mike Jones has been fighting it. I mean, just about everybody I know out there has been fighting it. But you know what? We still have to move on, don't we?
Yes, sir.
And we've got a lot going on in the city. We've talked on the phone about, and we were just talking about Strikers Bowling. You know, there's new things coming in over there, and great new management, and we're excited about that. We got Zaxby's. Okay, I don't know. I had an A somewhere in there coming in. That's a huge project going on over there on that intersection.
Yeah, that's about $1.5 million investment those folks are making on that corner right there. It's a tremendous investment.
They must believe in us.
Well, they do. I got a call one day just out of the blue from one of the owners of this company, and said that they were wanting to. Their two brothers, the Brown brothers, and one was living in South Carolina, North Carolina, I can't remember which, and the other one was in Georgia. And they both wanted to open a Zaxby's, and they were looking at Andalusia, Crestview, and the Fort Walton, Destin area. And we came out on top of that. And so we're really excited about the Zaxby's, particularly in that location there. It's going to be a great location.
Forever there was that old gas station sitting there, and now that the ground's broken and things are progressing over there, and that whole shopping center, according to Mr. Tisdale, talking to him, is going to be taking some changes here soon.
Hope so.
And hope to see that coming along as well. I want to jump into one of the most important things right now. There's things in the city that are going on, but to me right now, this is it for me, because if you watched Jill Metcalf and me talking about this the other day, this is near and dear to my heart, and I can't wait for this to start happening. And we're talking about the Miracle League coming into Andalusia. If you haven't been by out there, you can go look at the field, and you'll step back and go, I mean, it's beautiful.
It really is. It is going to be, in my opinion, and I've seen most of the Miracle League facilities in the state of Alabama, it will be the best in the state. And we're probably about 10 days away from having the entire facility completed, including the playground, which is really going to be something very nice. And I'm excited about it as well, Eddie. This is a project that I started about a year ago. Had the opportunity to talk to the folks at Troy. Troy, Alabama had a Miracle League facility, and I think it was about a couple of years old. And I went out and looked at it and talked to their people and said, well, we need one of these in Andalusia, Covington County. So we came back and went to work on it, and it's been about a year ago since we started on that, and nearly all of the money that's been used to build this facility has been donated by private citizens, businesses, and foundations, which just says an awful lot about our community.
It does.
And this is a number that I'm not throwing out there to brag about, but I'm proud of it. We've raised almost $550,000 in this community, but from, just as I said, not from the government, not any kind of. We did get one grant, but that grant was from Major League Baseball, and they have a program called Baseball Tomorrow, and they contribute to programs like this, and I think it was a $50,000 grant that we got from them. So it wasn't a huge grant, but it was $50,000 is huge.
It's big money.
And then we got some very sizable gifts from some local businesses and industries, and then the rest of it came from private individuals, $10 here and $100 there, and $1,000 somewhere else. And as I said, we're at the $550,000 mark now. And again, I will put this I'll put this facility up, this complex up, against any that I've seen anywhere.
Well, and folks, Covington County, you can take a bow because it was done with y'all, and certainly a pleasure. Talking about this with Ms. Metcalf this past week, I had no idea, Mayor. 500 plus children in Covington County are
Right.
special needs children.
Well, there are 550 children who qualify under the rules of the Miracle League program.
Right.
And those disabilities and special needs can range from just very minor to large disability, of something that wheelchair-bound children and things like that. In fact, the playground that we're building that's adjacent to the Miracle League field is designed for all children, but it's specifically designed to enable children with special needs to participate in the playground. That includes children in wheelchairs. I mean, you could actually get a kid up there in a wheelchair on the playground apparatus, and it's safe
Right.
to do so. So we're just tickled to death and excited and looking forward to getting this thing kicked off in the next few weeks. And hopefully, as people hear more about this, and some folks who have special needs children may not know about this, all they got to do is call my office and we'll get you hooked up with the right folks on getting your child registered. And this first year will be sort of an abbreviated season as far as the baseball or softball is concerned. And then next year it'll be a full-blown season. But this year we're kind of starting out slow, but we'll have an abbreviated season to give everybody an idea of what this is going to be like. And then hopefully next year we'll have a full-blown season up and running. So we need the kids, we need the children with the special needs, we need parents to volunteer. We need others in the community that don't have children with special needs to volunteer to help with this program for coaching and for, we need other children to volunteer for the buddy system. So each child with special needs is assigned a buddy to help them in this process. And so it's something that everybody gets something out of, meaningful, and I think everybody that participates in this program will take something away that will be beneficial to them for the rest of their lives.
Well, if folks want to volunteer, and I believe the age for the buddies are 12 years or older.
Right.
And then if you are over 20 years of age, you can be a coach. Then they do have some other volunteers that they need for concessions and other things that are going to be going on over there. I want to take a minute, Mayor, if you don't mind, because we don't get to toot horns very often. And there's some special people that have really put an effort into this program and getting it done. And I don't mind you taking a few moments and sharing those names.
Well, I hate to start calling out names because you always leave someone out. But I will say this. We've had some people that, and I'm going to talk about the city people. There are other volunteers that are still in the process, and some of those names I don't even know because I'm not in it at that level. But our planning and development department and our Department of Leisure Services, both of those departments have been real involved in this. And of course, everybody knows Alan Bracewell and Andy Wiggins and Michael Blair and Barbara Tyler, and the list just goes on and on of people that have worked on this project. Not only from those departments, but quite frankly, almost every department in the city of Andalusia, at one time or another, has been involved in the preparation of the playing facility, the field itself. And then the playground is still being erected and put in place. But almost everybody that works for the city at some point in time, including administrative staff down at City Hall, have been involved in helping to collect the funding and get it all in the right spot and pay the bills and write the letters that need to be written and all that sort of stuff. It's been a huge project, and it's been a labor of love, quite frankly, for all these people. And I think, once we have that first game out there and once we have the first group of special needs children out there, everyone's going to see how worthwhile all this effort has been.
Well, there's a lot of folks, as you say, that you can't name, and there's just the list is just endless that have gone out there and helped in one way or another. But the important thing is, and what I'm seeing, and I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know what kind of response I'm going to get, but I'm seeing it not Andalusia Miracle League or Miracle League of Andalusia. I see it the Miracle League of Covington County,
right.
And that's huge.
Well, we specifically did that. It was a project that started in the city of Andalusia, but we wanted to include the entire county. So we didn't name it the Miracle League of Andalusia or the Andalusia Miracle League. We called it the Miracle League of Covington County. Very similar to what we did with the Veterans Park. That's the Covington County Veterans Park. This is the Miracle League of Covington County. So it's for children throughout Covington County, and even children in the surrounding counties who live close to the county line are welcome to participate in this program.
And Mayor, I told Jill the other day, you haven't lived until you've been standing next to one of them children.
Yeah.
When they get to play on a field like this, or be Special Olympics, or whether it's something they can be a part of, and the joy and happiness that comes across those faces and the family. Because when you got the buddies out there and you got the volunteers out there, it gives the parents a chance to sit down in the bleachers and be parents.
That's exactly right.
And so it's a huge shot in the arm for everybody. And
the whole family, absolutely.
Absolutely, and job well done.
Well, thank you.
And
we're proud of it.
Every right to be. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, Mayor, I want to talk about this rumor going around. I keep hearing it on the city. It's not a rumor, but I hear it on the answering of the city phones over there. Something about being number one.
Yeah.
And how we came about that, and what that means for us in this community.
Sure.
So the gig is here. You got to say, keep it real.
Keep it real. All
Keep
right.
God in it. We'll be back with more right after this with Mayor Earl Johnson right here on WKNI TV. Good morning and welcome back to WKNI TV 25. And once again, we're so honored to have the mayor here from Andalusia, Mayor Earl Johnson. Mayor, when we left, we had talked about Miracle Field and Miracle League and the field next to it and all that's going on. Great thing going on over there. And people sit there and they hear me talking when I'm on WTVY on Wednesday mornings about us being, selected the #1 city in the state of Alabama. And even Demetria asked me, how'd that happen? Well, Mayor, how'd it happen?
A lot of hard work. We were not even aware, when I say we, the city officials were not aware that this poll, it's not a poll really, it's a study. It's being conducted by a gentleman down in Florida who has made really a lifelong study of cities, small cities around the country. And he's been compiling this list of rankings for years, and has just now published it within the last 2 or 3 months. And I think he entitles it "In Search of Eden." Of course, we know what Eden is. The Garden of Eden would be the best place in the world to live, I suppose, if it was still here. And he ranks small cities according to a set of categories that he has. Property cost, taxes, quality of life issues, medical care issues, education, the environment, just a host of different categories that he uses, and he updates this thing every 6 months or so, and we received notice from him about 2 months ago that Andalusia, I guess now it's been about 3 months, that Andalusia had been designated as the 49th, the 49th best small city in the country, not Alabama, not the Southeast, but the entire nation. And the only other Alabama city that was even rated was Fairhope, Alabama, which we all know Fairhope is down there on the Mobile Bay, and is more or less sort of a tourist area, and they were rated number 60, and so that put us the #1 city a small city in the state of Alabama, according to his listing. Since that time, he has revised his list, and we've been moved to number 44.
Wow.
So
okay.
we actually gained 5 positions in just a couple of months. And while I am extremely proud of that, and we're using it, as you said, mentioned earlier, in a lot of ways, and going to continue to use it in a lot of ways, we're not satisfied with that until we're the number 1 small city in America. And while some folks may not believe that we can achieve that, I do. And there are a lot of people in this community that believe that and work hard every day to get us there. And we're going to continue to work hard to try to improve our rating in that rating service and in any others that are out there.
Well, Mayor, we have been bringing on people here in this community now for a number of years and talking about what's coming into the community, what kind of foundations and infrastructures have been put in. And if you go back and look at everything, and I picked this cliche up with Dr. Rydell with LBW, and I'm calling it the Golden Nugget. And that's what we are. We're the golden nugget in the middle of Alabama that shines. And it's got so much there for everybody. And if everybody just was able to step back and go, look what we have compared to what other cities have. And you'll see what we're talking about.
Well, you know, a lot of our folks, a lot of people that live in here don't travel widely. They travel maybe in South Alabama, but those people who I talk to who travel widely, who are all over the country and throughout the state and throughout the Southeast, invariably say, boy, I tell you what, Andalusia's got a lot to be proud of. Because I've been to this town or that town, or I just drove across Georgia or Mississippi or Florida, whatever, and they say, you know, boy, Andalusia's got an awful lot going for them, and we do. And it's not just infrastructure, it's not just streets, it's not just buildings, but it's people. We've got great people, and of course there are great people everywhere. We know that, but we're especially blessed with great people who love their community and who want to make it a better place to live, not just be satisfied with what we got or what somebody did 30 or 40 years ago. We want to improve what we've got and believe that we can do that. And I think in the last 20 years, we've proven that we can do that, and we're not, you know, we want to continue along those lines.
Well, when you look at all the effort that's been put into the historical resurrection of the community, you look at Church Street, you look at East Three Notch, and you look at the Farm Center, or what's that called over there, the Farmers Market, those types of things that have been redone in the community, the square and the buildings around the square. People see other people putting value into these things and holding on to them. And when they come from out of town, they go, wow. You know, they see the city hall, they see the art center.
Well, the best way I know to describe what's happening in Andalusia, I refer to it as the Renaissance, and we all know what the Renaissance period was back in the 1500s in the nation, when in the world was coming out of the Middle Ages and the Dark Ages and came into the Renaissance, where art and all kinds of things flourished, and the world sort of grew by leaps and bounds as far as its quality of life for the people living on the earth. All of that, of course, occurred in Europe, Western Europe primarily, but Andalusia at one time was a extremely prosperous town with the Alatex going and the Andala and some other industries that were here. And when those went away, we kind of slid into an abyss, I guess you might say, and I guess folks even sort of got the mindset, well, we can't do anything about this. It wasn't our fault that these things happened. You know, the NAFTA took this away from us, and NAFTA took that away from us, and these other things were beyond our control. But you know, you can do something about it. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, a lot of imagination, a lot of vision, and a lot of cooperation, a lot of working together, teamwork, but it can be done, and we've proved it right here in Andalusia. And as an example of that, my first 2 terms as mayor, I spent an awful lot of my time trying to get people to come see us in Andalusia, to come talk to us about investing in our community. Now they're calling us. Very rarely does a week go by that we don't get an inquiry from somebody that we didn't even know existed. The Zaxby's is an example. We didn't recruit those folks. They came and selected Andalusia. Now we did some things to help them, as we do any business,
right.
but and that is repeating. And there are also local folks now who are investing, and we've got a couple of new, really nice shops opening downtown. Just opened downtown. They're very, very nice. These are the kinds of things I'm talking about, sort of taking on a life of its own, and folks are now stepping in and doing these things without us having to pull them by the ears, so to speak, into town and say, "Won't you come look at Andalusia?" So we're in a good time.
We are.
We're going to make it better.
When you look at the square, I mean, I can remember back. It's not been that long ago, and there was nothing there. Maybe a couple offices that were, the Murphy building had Mr. Murphy and a couple others in there. You had the courthouse, you had the theater, and you had Walker, and a couple of business offices around there. And it was old buildings. It was, I don't want to say dilapidated, but they were not in the best of care. You go downtown on the square right now, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful.
And we've still got some things to do down there, and there's still lots of room for improvement and lots of room for growth. But we think that's happening. We've got people now coming to us to talk to us about this building or that building or the other building. Of course, we don't own all those buildings, right. So all we can basically do is put them in contact with the owners of the buildings and try to make something work. But the point is, people are beginning to take notice of Andalusia, and that's a good thing.
Well, like you say, it is spreading out, and it's coming out through the bypass. It's coming out, and you just feel that positive sense in the community, and it's a very nice feeling. Mayor, one of the things that shines in this community is the education system, and I don't think we'll ever recover from Ted Watson coming on here and doing the interview with me. But that guy is a character and a good man. Yeah. And that's part of what people are looking for when they're trying to bring their families here and businesses here.
Well, our school system is in a renaissance as well. As you know, they're about to build 2 new facilities, a 6th grade facility at the elementary school, and then a junior high school at the high school, on the high school campus. And we're working with them on that and going to help them with that. But again, that is something that's a game changer. Right. And as far as our school system is concerned, and there are other things that are in the in the planning stages for our school system. And Andalusia school system's always been respected and highly rated. But Mr. Watson and the school board and the teachers and the faculty and the administrators, they're not satisfied with where they are. They want to improve, just like we're trying to improve our community. Part of that is the education system, and I'm convinced that we've taken some giant steps recently to make that happen, and we're going to continue to do that.
If you haven't been to Andalusia High School indoor, what is that, football practice?
Well, it can be used by lots of different groups, bands, but it's primarily an indoor practice facility for the football team and the soccer team, and even the band under certain circumstances can get in there and practice. And to show you how important that is, there will be a coaching clinic in Andalusia this weekend.
Wow.
Starting tomorrow, the head football coach of Jacksonville State University and the head football coach at Huntington College will be in Andalusia teaching coaches or coaching coaches. That's a big thing. That, to my knowledge, is the first time that's ever happened in Andalusia, Alabama. And one of the big reasons they're coming is because of that facility. And
it's all weather.
Oh yeah, and those are the kinds of things that I'm talking about, where people from outside of Andalusia are saying, I want to go down there and be a part of that. And
I can tell you, as president of the Lato Alumni Association from Tampa, from my old school, we don't even have a facility like that. We have graduating class of Lato averages anywhere from 2,000 to 2,500 students a year. And so, to have something like that here, it's
Yeah.
just, unbelievable.
Well, it's the kind of thing you would expect to see on a college campus, quite frankly.
Absolutely.
Now there are other high schools in this state that have those kinds of facilities. I've not seen any as nice as that one, but I'm sure they probably are, because I haven't seen them all. But I'll say this: it's the nicest one I've seen, and we were able to do that with a loan where we actually pay back less than we borrowed. So, for example, if you borrowed $1,000, you pay back $800. That's a pretty good deal.
That's great, a great deal. I remember when you used to come on here on the term before when you were here. We talk about the grant money versus it was pennies on the dollar that was being spent. That's continuing now, right?
Oh, absolutely. I like to say we take $1 of Andalusia tax dollar and turn it into $5 of value. And that's really not an exaggeration. That is the truth.
You just got a big grant on.
We got a huge grant on the A-Trip program for South 3 Knott Street, $8.6 million.
Unheard of.
That is 80-20 money. In other words, the state will pay 80% of the cost of that project. We only have to pay 20%, and we couldn't do it otherwise. That's going to be about something over a $10 million project.
Wow.
The city of Andalusia could not afford to do that project had we not gotten that grant. And the city of Andalusia, a city of just over 9,000 people, got the 4th largest grant in the state during that cycle, which is the cycle of last year. So it's huge, or cycle for 13. So it's a huge step for us, and again, that's the last thoroughfare, you might say, coming in and out of Andalusia that hasn't been completely refurbished and rebuilt. And by the way, the Highway Department, State DOT, Department of Transportation, announced a couple of weeks ago that they're going to resurface and redo Stanley Avenue.
Oh, there you go.
Which is from all the way from East 3 Knott Street there, intersection of East 3 Knott Street, all the way to the city limits. So that, again, that's a huge project. It's not going to cost the city of Andalusia a dime.
Exactly.
So when we get through with the South 3 Knotts project, we're going to be in pretty good shape with respect to our major streets coming in the city. And then we'll start dropping back and getting some of the busier streets and some of the neighborhoods and improving those.
South 3 Notch, money's there, everything's getting ready to do it. Businesses just boomed on that street. I mean, right across from the hospital. And,
right.
And you've got Darby's over there now. You've got 2 pharmacies there. You've got cancer center. You've got
you got a medical lab,
dialysis,
home health care center, dialysis just down the street there from the hospital, as well as a new dialysis center out on the Bruton Highway.
The past year.
All within a year, yeah. Right.
Wow. All right. When's the groundbreaking?
For South 3 Knotts?
Yes.
We don't know yet. There's a
they're going to start on the utilities first.
A project that is that complex takes months and months and months of planning and design by the engineers and the technical people. It has to go through a litany of review at the state level and the federal level. I would imagine it'd be we hope that we're able to let bids in the December bid letting. I think I'm stating that correct. Maybe it's September. I'm not sure about that. We hope to break ground around the first of the year. So that's the ballpark figure. And then it'll take about a year to complete the project.
Fantastic. It's going to be wonderful, and I just can't wait to see the new changes coming along there. It will be difficult traveling and traversing through there, just like it was on River Falls, but I don't hear anybody complaining on River Falls now.
Well, most people are happy with the result of River Falls. It's always, anytime you start messing with a street and get it where it's inconvenient for folks, I understand people get aggravated and irritated, and that's just kind of the nature of the animal, I suppose. we will do our very best to accommodate folks and make certain that their business or their home is not blocked. When we get out around the hospital, that's very important because you got to have constant access open to the hospital and those offices out there. But that project will be run primarily by the state, not by the city. So that's one negative to it, is we won't have as much direct input on the day-to-day construction as we did on River Falls Street. But hey, these folks, this is what they do. They're experts at it, and they understand and realize the importance of people having access to their property. So they'll work hard and put in a lot of planning to make sure that the inconvenience is kept to a minimum.
And I've talked to several businesses over there that have just recently moved on to there, and a couple of the older ones, and they're ready for it. There's more positive trade out for the negative.
Oh yeah, again, this is a long-term project that will carry that part of town for 2 generations. I mean, you know, that's the importance of it, and the impact it'll have in our community.
Mayor, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about a couple places that kind of, you know, for whatever reasons, for lack of word, it becomes controversial at times, and that is, you know, spending money on buildings. And
well, let's say this: it's controversial with some people, and not necessarily everybody.
Well, we're going to talk about that. Talk about Springdale a little bit.
All right.
Went by there the other day. My goodness, we had Chef Whalen. Michael Whalen, the one that's out there from LBW, he loves the place, and you know, they're putting on their culinary classes out there. We're going to go over there and videotape some of that here in the next week or so, and just some great stuff going on over there at Springdale.
Did he offer to feed you while you were there?
Absolutely. He told me you've already been there and ate.
I've been.
I said, really? They didn't invite me, but he did, and lots of exciting stuff in our community, and we'll be back with our mayor talking about those exciting things right after these messages from our sponsors. Remember,
keep it real.
Keep God in it. God bless you. We love you. We'll be right back with Mayor Earl Johnson. Good morning and welcome back to WKNI TV 25. Once again, pleasure to have Mayor Earl Johnson from the City of Andalusia, selected the #1 city in the state of Alabama, and we heard how that came about, and that's pretty cool. And we've even upgraded some more as far as nationwide to number 44.
Right.
Instead of 49, and we're talking about reasons why, and we've talked about, you know, the infrastructure, we've talked about the things happening out there, we've talked about businesses and education in the community, and you know, even for the special needs, we have, you know, things set aside. Now, let's question the mayor 101. Some folks said Springdale was a terrible investment, and it's turned out to be quite an asset from what I can tell when you look at the books and you look at the property.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about Springdale. How's that coming along?
It's doing great. It's got a lot of bookings for weddings and birthday parties and other types of celebrations, particularly through this time of the year. It's in the spring and the summer and the fall. It's really busy. There's hardly a day goes by that there's not someone down there with a pretty girl and a pretty skirt taking photographs.
I saw a Southern Belle out there.
It's almost every day, particularly during the prom season. During prom season, they show up out there almost daily taking photographs. We have the big Easter egg hunt for the schools or school children around the Easter holidays. I mean, it's just on and on. I mean, it's turned into a tremendous asset for us, and it was one of the, you know, it was cited as one of the reasons why Andalusia was awarded the Quality of Life Award by the League of Municipalities. We'll be receiving that next month, and at the League of Municipalities statewide meeting in Montgomery, and Springdale, the preservation and the redoing of Springdale was one of the reasons that we received that statewide award. So, you know, it's again, it's an investment. The money is not spent.
Right. When
you spend money, it's gone. You know, you bought a meal or you bought some gas and you burned it up, it's gone. when you invest money, you change money into some other type of asset, and that's what we did with Springdale. We took cash and spent it or invested it in another asset, which is Springdale, and that asset is paying for itself, and not only that, but it's making Andalusia a much better place to live.
Well, not only that, but our other part of the nugget, LBW, is partnered with the city over
Right.
there, and we had Chef Whalen on here.
Yeah.
Is he a good cook?
Oh yeah, he's excellent. He's a very accomplished individual.
So you know it firsthand.
I do. I think that program, Dr. Rydell came to me and talked to me about that program, and I told him I thought it was a great idea to develop a culinary program at LBW, because I think there are jobs for people who have that training.
That's right.
and that background. So we work with them to let them use the kitchen that we put into the building right behind the Springdale Estate. And they're using that kitchen as their teaching kitchen for their culinary program until they get their own sometime out in the future. And it's worked very well for LBW and Andalusia.
So it's not a bad thing, as some would allude to or have in the past. It certainly turned out to be a good positive.
As far as I can tell, everybody that's used it had great things to say about it.
And it's open to the public.
And sure, it's a park. We have people. You don't have to pay a fee to go down there and walk around, and you don't have to pay a fee to go down and take pictures or let your children run around in the yard. I mean, it's a city park, and if there is an event down there, of course, then you know that whatever the event is, depending on what it is, parts of the area are closed off
Right.
because of people who have rented it and using it for a party. But 95% of the time, it's open to the public.
Well, Mayor, speaking of the park system, that's another asset we have in
Yep.
this community that people come to. We've got Johnson Park, which has been totally redone, and this is the first year that it's been in
Right.
use. Obviously, the Miracle League and Miracle Field's out there now, and that's going to be kicking off here in the next couple of weeks. Another positive thing that caught controversy as well back when the county wanted to do their thing, and the city wanted to do their thing, and it turned out to win for everybody. And
Well, that's the key. That Johnson Park is a perfect example of people sitting down and putting their differences aside and working together for the betterment of the community. Now, not only is the city of Andalusia children able to use Johnson Park, but the county kids who before didn't have a park to play in, we worked out a mutual agreement where now they come and they're using the park as well. So it's a benefit to the whole, not just to Andalusia, but to this part of the county.
wonderful, wonderful park system we have. And I constantly see city workers going, through there and maintaining it. And
Well, we're going to have several, as you know, probably by now, we're going to have several baseball tournaments and
Yes.
softball tournaments.
Babe Ruth
this
is
year.
coming. And,
Not only at Johnson Park, but at other
right.
playing venues around the city. We're going to have some really big tournaments this summer.
Wow. Lots of excitement there. All right. Now, the recent bullseye on Mayor Earl Johnson, the gentleman that doesn't know how to spend city money wisely. There's a building right across from the police department, across the street from Georgetown Apartments, and across the street from the old ambulance building
Rescue
there.
Squad.
Rescue Squad. And it's currently owned by the Hugheses, I believe. And,
Right.
it's got a parking lot that's adjacent and adjoining the police department parking lot in that
Right.
area. And I don't know how many people that watch this program have been down to municipal court any time of late. There's a little problem with that. Can you tell us the purchase of that building of what, $90,000?
No, it was 185,000.
185. Okay, I don't know. I don't know where I get my figures from, but 180,000, whatever it is there, versus what we have in the city court system right now. I talked to Judge Mike Jones Jr. For the city of Andalusia here last week, and we were talking about the purchase of that and how important it was to the municipal, judicial system. And safety is a key factor. And right now, if you walk into the front door of the police department, you can walk in into the judge's chamber right there where he's
Right.
at, and it's not a good position to be in.
Well, there are two things that were important about that lot and that property. Some people are confused about what we're talking about, but this is the property that lies directly behind the Brooks Shoe Shop and Bill and David Bryant's offices. It's on the back, that big parking lot on the back side of there, and it adjoins across the little street there, the back side of the police department. And on that property is a huge parking lot, as well as that brick building that was there that was once an insurance company.
Right.
Many years ago. Mr. Hughes, out of the goodness of his heart, has allowed our police department and allowed Mr. Bryant and allowed the other businesses along there to use that parking lot, but he didn't have to.
Right.
And if someone had come in and bought that piece of property and decided that they wanted to put a fence around it and not allow the City of Andalusia Police Department to use it, and the businesses that join it to use it, it could put a real crimp in some folks' operation, including the City Police Department. So it was important to us from that standpoint alone. But in addition to that, what you've alluded to is the court. The municipal court has been held for many years in the old council chambers, which was located as, that before it was a police department, it was the city hall.
Right.
And the council chambers there are very small, not a whole lot bigger than this room we're in right here.
You're right.
Not a whole lot bigger. And unfortunately, when they have court there now, and they have court I think on Monday nights, and sometimes more often depending on the calendar, there can be 100 people that are jammed into that little small room, and the judge and the judge's staff are just sitting there, quite frankly, like sitting ducks.
Yes.
And while it is in the police department, it's very difficult to give any real meaningful security to the court personnel under the circumstances that now exist in that little room. Now, people can say, "Oh, nothing's ever happened before." Well, people don't know what's happened before.
Nothing happened before, like in Boston.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, people don't know what's happened before because we don't talk about it. But the point is, not only is it dangerous for the personnel, court personnel, and the police officers who happen to be there testifying, some of them off duty and unarmed, but it's also could be dangerous for the people the citizens who come there to take care of whatever kind of business they're there to take care of. And in my experience as an attorney, and I've been practicing law since 1974, most of the time when people are in a courtroom, whether it be a civil courtroom or whether it be a traffic court or whether it be a municipal court or whatever, most of the time they're not real happy to be there.
It's true.
They're there because either they're going to have to pay a fine of some kind, or they've been accused by their neighbor of doing something, and it's a high tension situation. So Judge
A lot of your domestics.
Judge Jones came to me several months ago and was concerned about that situation, and we started talking about what we could do with the existing facility that we had, where they are now in the old chamber, council chamber. And there's just not much you can do because of the way that room is built. It's got a front door that opens out onto the street. It's got a back door. When you open the back door, the judge is sitting with his back to you right there.
Right.
I mean, there's no separation, and there's no way to separate it because you'd have to lock that door up, and then the judge wouldn't have any way to get in and out, and his assistants would have no way to get in and out of the room except going out around and going out through the way I just described. So it's just not a good situation, and one day it could lead to a tragedy. And so Mr. Hughes came to me and said, I want to sell this property about 6 months ago. And I started talking to him about it, and he, quite frankly, sold it. He said, I'd like to sell it to the city because his father was once the fire chief, and he had a connection with the city, and said, I'd like to see the city have this because of my family's connection with the city. As you know, it's got that brick building on it that was once an office building. Still, he uses it now for his printing business and other businesses, but it's basically, you can go in there and reconfigure the inside of that building any way you want to. So we can go in there with our own forces, our own people, and redesign the interior of that building so that it is more suitable for a courtroom and more suitable to provide security, not only for the court personnel, but for the private citizens that are in there seeing about taking care of court business. It also maintains that parking lot availability to our police department, as well as the businessmen whose businesses back up right to it. So I think it's a win-win. I think that if we had not purchased that and we got a unfriendly neighbor that bought it, we would be very sorry that we had let that property get away from us. It adjoins, as I said, for all the reasons that it adjoins our property and all the other reasons, I think it was a good buy. People have a right to a difference of opinion on that, and that's why they make chocolate and vanilla, because some people like chocolate and some people like vanilla.
I like them both.
Well, I think in the long run, it will be seen as a wise decision, and often it takes time for folks to understand and appreciate what we've done, because in government, you don't do everything at one time. You have to do it as you can get to it. Right. So the first stage of this thing was to buy the property. The next stage would be to convert that old building into a court facility. And then once people start seeing it and using it and seeing the advantages to it, I think that it will be seen as a wise decision.
Well, Mayor, we have no reason to doubt you here, because just about everything that we know of, Springdale and the other projects that you've come along with, Church Street, the courthouse, the City Hall, all have turned into huge assets. And with that, we've always called you a visionary and forward thinker, and your council is the same. And you certainly have a team behind you. We do. We got a great city council, and I'll tell you, that's not true in every community. Right. You don't have to look too far away to see groups that can't agree on anything. And we have a council. Every member of that city council, in my opinion, is on the city council for the right reason, not anything personal, nothing to gain personally. They're on there to try to help their citizens, help the community. And that doesn't mean that they have to agree with me on every issue, because that's just human nature. We're not going to on every issue. But I'll say this, on the important issues, the ones that really matter, we generally always come down together, because we take time, we talk about it, we research it, we discuss it, and we all have a meeting of the minds. That's the best way to move our community forward. Well, you have real workshops too, right before the meeting, right, and get a lot of this hashed out, and it's a good thing. Mayor, can't tell you how much we appreciate you. We're proud to be a part of this community. Folks out there, you've got a golden nugget sitting right here in Alabama that shines just on belief. You've got so many assets here, so much infrastructure, and the city of Andalusia is a big part of that. Thank you. So, Mayor, thanks for coming on. Yes, sir. God bless you. Remember, keep it real. Keep God in it. We love y'all. God bless you. And we'll tomorrow we have who? I don't believe we have it tomorrow. We do. I just haven't put it up there. I can't remember who it is, but it's right above your finger right there. Dr. Hubbard and Rydell? Yeah, we're going to have the Dr. Hubbard and Rydell. Oh, yeah. That's what we didn't talk about, the chamber music. Gosh. Yeah. Man, isn't that something? Wonderful. Man, I'm going. I got my tickets. You got yours? I'll be there. Oh, man, I can't wait to hear that. But, folks, thanks for tuning in. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, right here on WKNI TV 25.